Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Today we are doing a 7-round mock draft for the Houston Texans. Again, this is the Houston Texans rebuild. We're going to be talking, it's not an exact science for this one. We're going to be more talking about certain players, certain positions that could be fitting for the Houston Texans to be taking in the 2023 NFL draft. Again, before we get into it, I truly just want to say thank you guys for all the support. The last month has been absolutely wild, and we really do appreciate all the support you guys have shown. It is NFL draft season, so if you are an NFL draft fan and you like talking prospects, you like talking position fits, position rankings, consider subscribing to the channel. Get into the chat. Let's talk about position rankings. We love that. This is my favorite time of the year. So if you guys do enjoy the content, again, consider subscribing. That helps the boys out a lot. And let's get into this mock. The first where it starts is who is quarterback one in this draft class. For me, I'm not overthinking it. It's Bryce Young. Now, CJ Stroud on Saturday night during New Year's Eve did put a lot of good film on tape to kind of show that he can push Bryce Young for that QB1 spot. When I was watching some Jackson Smith-Njigba highlights last night, or some film last night, and like CJ Stroud's a stud. I think he's pretty comfortably the quarterback too. But when it comes down to it, I know you have concerns about Bryce Young and his size, but the pocket presence, the arm talent, the accuracy, the timing of his throws, the anticipation he throws with, the athletic ability to extend plays. I just think he's the more complete, one of the best quarterbacks I've seen at the college football level. Even this year with Bill O'Brien running such a poor offense, he was kind of the reason that offense ticked and was able to score points. So I really do think Bryce Young is kind of the no-brainer pick for the Houston Texans here if they do have that number one pick. Now, pick 12. I really would have liked Quentin Johnson here. In my opinion, he's kind of like – this is kind of a worst-case scenario for the Houston Texans. If you have Quentin Johnson and Jordan Addison go outside of the top – like inside of the top 12, the Houston Texans, I think, really could go get a wide receiver, and they're kind of left holding the bag. Like Jackson Smith-Njigba, I really do like. I just don't think he's worth a top 15 pick because I do think he's more of a slot guy. And that could be like – I'd rather get a Josh Downs in the second or third round as opposed to reaching on a guy like Jackson Smith-Njigba, who I really, really like, and we'll get into him more with position rankings. Now, that being said, I'm not kind of sold on him that high. So what happens, though, with the run on wide receivers is some really good prospects that have fallen. I think Peter Skoronski would be a really good pick. That being said, he's not my offensive tackle one. Paris Johnson Jr.'s. I'm going to go get Jared Verse, and this is a guy that, if you guys aren't familiar with Jared Verse yet, I really do think he'll be a top 15 pick. Transferred over from SUNY Albany to Florida State and just kind of took this year by storm. You watch the LSU tape and he was just unblockable. Dealt with injuries for majority of the season, but when he was healthy, he was one of the best wide receiver, or one of the best edge rushers to watch on film. I really do think he's going to be a top 15 guy. Potentially even top 10. If there's a run on wide receivers, there are going to be some really good prospects you can take with that number 12 pick who are slipping because the wide receivers are going. Pick 32. This is where you might want to go take a look at some of the wide receivers. Now, you only have Parker Washington left. This isn't great. Zay Flowers, I really do like. We're going to hold off on him, though, and hopefully we can get him a little bit later. There's a lot of different ways I like Christian Gonzalez a lot. We're going to go get Devin Witherspoon, though, from Illinois. Devin Witherspoon, he's very long. He's 6 feet tall, 180 pounds. So the size is great, but he's got good length, which you really like. Plays man coverage extremely well. When targeted, had a 27 passer rating when targeted. I mean, this dude was basically a walking seatbelt all year. I think he's going to be great at the NFL level. He's got that outside cornerback body. If I was kind of telling you kind of a sleeper guy that could be like a Sauce Gardner next year, I do think it would be Devin Witherspoon. He's a very fluid athlete. Very long. He's physical. There's not a lot to dislike about his game. Round 3, pick 64. Again, a lot of ways you could go with this. I might take a look at the wide receiver position again now. And this is where I might go get Zay Flowers. You take a look at what Zay Flowers has done. He was that Boston College offense. I mean, my only concern with Zay Flowers is you're probably putting him in the slot, which is not great when you're talking about really getting someone for Bryce Young to work with, and you do have John Mechie coming back. Zay Flowers is a guy that's just going to get open. He's got burners, and he's really good after the catch. in my opinion, kind of a quarterback's best friend. Like, he's going to be open. He's going to create separation, whether it's in zone coverage, whether it's in man coverage. He's very good at creating separation in man and then finding those throwing windows in zone coverage, where to sit down those routes. I really do think he'll kind of be a real good safety net for Bryce Young. And he also can work vertically down the field extremely well. Oh, I like myself some Jack Campbell a lot. I want to check. This might be the time where you go get Darnell Wright. I don't quite understand. Darnell Wright was a former 5-star recruit coming into Tennessee, and not a lot of people are talking about him. I truly think he's one of the better tackles in this class, and if you can get a potential like Pro Bowl level starting tackle in round 3, I think that's where you probably take a stab and try to go get him. Pick 96, round 4. Again, we already got our rangy cornerback in Devin Witherspoon, but man, Eli Ricks would be a really nice one. This is where I think you want to maybe look at the interior here. There's some guys I really, really like late round. I don't think the interior defense line guys, you have Jalen Carter, you have Brian Brizzi, who are going to go early. I think there are some real sleepers. Rook Ororo for Clemson is an absolute dog. I started watching Clemson tape from Miles Murphy, and then I noticed this dude on the inside, and it wasn't Tyler Davis. It was Big Rook. I love his game. He uses his hands very well, takes on double teams extremely well. Kind of one of the more complete interior defensive linemen, 3 techs that you have. He can rush the passer extremely well, but he's also very, very good against the run. I think he would be a phenomenal pick in round 4. Round 5, this is where I would get Olu. This is a no-brainer. No, absolute no-brainer for me. I think this is the Olu Timmy for Michigan, in my mind, is the best center in the entire country. And yes, I am a Michigan fan, but I really do feel strongly about his athleticism and his play strength. He would be an absolute steal. Warren McClendon, another guy that I really like. Ivan Pace, another guy that I really like. Ivan Pace was the number 1 linebacker graded at PFF. He can do a lot of different things. He's kind of like what Jalen Petrie is to like that safety group. I think Ivan Pace Jr. could be to that linebacker group where you can do a lot of different things with him. You can line him up on the edge. He can provide pass rush. He gets behind the line of scrimmage a lot. I really do like his game. Sorry to kind of just like cut off my talk on Ivan Pace, but Warren McClendon, I think he plays right tackle for Georgia. He's been awesome for 2 straight years. I think he's kind of a lock to be a really good tackle at the next level. I think you could say a very similar thing about Ryan Hayes. There's some really sneaky good tackles getting down into this. Connor Galvin is supposed to be a first-round pick. Ryan Hayes is very, very good for Michigan. There's some really good tackles. The guy I'm going to go with the most is Warren McClendon. Probably would be playing left tackle if it wasn't for his teammate being probably a top 20 pick in Broderick Jones. He's a really good player. So we got 2 picks left, 192, 206. There's a lot of different ways you could go. I think you could look at kind of another like edge outside linebacker kind of guy. Isaiah McGuire, Dylan Horton too. We'll go Isaiah McGuire. He's probably not going to be a 7th round pick. He's probably going to be a little bit earlier. And you could probably throw Dylan Horton in there too. I think you could probably could boost up that interior offensive line. Let's take a look at that. We just went with Olu. I think we could get a guard too. Emil Ikior, I think, will be a very solid backup. He's played at Alabama for a very, very long time. I like Jarrett Patterson too. I like Caleb Chandler a lot. There's some good ones. We'll go with Emil Ikior just because he's a good pass rush blocker. This draft, you want to go best player available because I think the Texans have so many different needs. Zay Flowers, they're sleeping on Zay Flowers and Darnell Wright. I really like both of those players. I think they could both be like early day 2 kind of guys. PFF, obviously not a fan. Isaiah McGuire is another guy that I'll easily go day 2. He might even be a day 1 kind of guy. I really think he's a good player. This is a chance for the Houston Texans to really rebuild this roster. I'm very excited to take a look at what they end up doing because, again, you have 3 picks. With the Miami Dolphins forfeiting that 1 pick, you have 3 first-round picks, 3 picks in the top 32. That is a lot of movement that you can make. You probably looking like you'll have the number 1 overall pick. You can get your quarterback of the future. You can get guys that can help him too. I wouldn't have minded a tight end. I wouldn't have minded another wide receiver. We got some really good talent down here as well. This was a pretty successful Houston Texans 2023 NFL mock draft. Again, in the comment section, can you guys just let me know position groups you want to see the Houston Texans take a look at, and then potential players that I'm sleeping on for you NFL draft and college football fans. That's what I appreciate the most, is just talking some ball with you guys in the comment section. So again, appreciate you guys checking us out. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.